Hello, everybody, and good Tuesday afternoon. Our Tuesday off to a mostly decent start. We've seen a lot of gloom outside, but temperatures are mild. It's a lot better than what we're going to see outside by the end of this week. Tomorrow, much of the same as what we're seeing outside today. It's kind of one of those weeks where you have a lot of rain chances in there. It just depends on the time of the day and exactly where those storms pop up. What we are keeping our eyes on, so I'm going to change the graphics here, is Thursday, because that's, like I said, when things are going to start to change by the end of this week. Thursday is our next first alert weather day. Don't be surprised if Friday might end up being another one as well. Because we have a potent weather maker that's going to be pushing its way into the Ohio Valley, and we already have severe weather risk areas out from the Storm Prediction Center, a slight risk on Thursday, and another highlighted area of the tri-state on Friday. We're going to talk all about this coming up in just a few seconds. Let's take a look at what's going on right now in case you're getting ready to head out and about. And thanks for tuning in this afternoon here on a gloomy Tuesday. We're seeing a good amount of light to moderate rain pushing in. The heaviest rain has been just off to our east, kind of over towards the Chillicothe area right now. It's moving up to the north-northwest, so it's going to skirt right on by portions of Highland and Clinton counties, likely not making it far in at all. Light rain as well, Adams County, Brown County, all the way over to Claremont County. This is all pushing out of northern Kentucky and across the river. Downtown, it's not raining just yet, but we have some rain just now starting to sneak into portions of southern Boone, Kent, and Campbell counties. That'll be moving its way downtown probably here within, let's say about 45 minutes to an hour or so, close to 1 o'clock. With a little bit of daytime heating this afternoon, this lousy low will spark a few thunderstorms. Nothing in our area is likely to be severe again. Just like yesterday, it's going to be a very similar pattern. Storms coming in from the southeast, moving over downtown. Enough to be a nuisance, but nothing to cancel plans over. There will be dry time mixed in there, too. And then late tonight, once that sun sets, after 8:30 or so, 8:30, then we're going to see these storms start to fizzle out a little bit. This low will start to push off to the east in the next couple of days. Well, really through the day tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to see the storms on the backside of the system. So instead of seeing those storms coming out of the southeast, moving up to the northwest, we're going to see on the backside of this low where the winds are going to be more out of the northwest. So storms tomorrow, northwest to southeast across the tri-state, opposite of what they're doing today as this low continues to press its way up to the northeast. Then we have to turn our eyes towards Thursday, a separate storm system, which right now I'm just going to take control and go. We're going to go off the rails. That's what we always do here at noon. This is just one lousy low spinning right here over Tennessee. Our next storm system is lurking here off to the west. Not looking like a whole lot of anything just yet, but it's going to take a dive through the upper Midwest starting tomorrow, and by Thursday it'll reach us and give us that next chance for stronger storms. The northwestern half or so, more or less, of the tri-state is already under a slight risk for severe weather Thursday. In terms of timing for this, most of the day Thursday actually looks pretty nice. It's going to be warm. It's going to be very humid. We're talking dew points in the low 70s. What that is, it's a measure of moisture in the air. And anytime you get over 60 and especially up towards that 70-degree mark, that's what we typically see here in the August, September, maybe a little bit of July time frame. When all the crops get going, it's very soupy. You're going to feel that moisture. That moisture along with some mid-80s. I have us at 84 degrees outside for Thursday. That is thunderstorm fuel. Those storms will fuel off it. The one thing we have going for us on Thursday to try to keep that risk down is something we call a cap, an atmospheric cap. It's a layer of warm air, an inversion kind of aloft. Warm air naturally wants to rise. If it hits that pocket of warm air, it kind of doesn't want to go up anymore. Those storms kind of get stopped. An easier way to think about it like a bottle of Coke or a pop, right? On a normal day, just think of like the bottle of pop's been sitting there. You can open the lid, no problems, right? Nothing comes out. You can drink it without getting it all over the place. But on a day like this, where you have that high heat, high humidity, it's like shaking up the bottle, right? You're shaking up that bottle of pop. The cap is what I'm talking about. It's holding that energy in. It's holding it down. It's keeping those storms from developing. But the second you take the cap off after shaking the pop, explosive. That's what we're talking about with these storms. There is going to be ample fuel to get things going on Thursday. It's all a matter of whether or not we can get that cap to pop off. And if it does, that's why we are going to have a pretty good chance for some stronger storms. Keeping an eye on that for Thursday. There is a chance the cap stays on. I'll show you some models coming up where they're kind of still bullish on giving us any rain chances at all Thursday. And here's the other issue. In Thursday, if the cap does stay on and we don't see a whole lot of anything, and then Thursday ends up being a nice day, probably one of our nicest first alert weather days, Here's what happens Friday then. Friday, that means then there will still be ample fuel for Friday's storms. Obviously, Friday, there's a lot of people probably going to be out and about. We have the Reds in town, Battle of Ohio. Let's see, Tuesday. Yeah, that starts on Friday. That's a Friday to Sunday series with Cleveland. They're in town beginning Friday night. Something to keep an eye on. There's a big concert, Zach Brown Band's over at TQL Stadium where FC Cincinnati plays. That's going to be Friday night. Something to keep an eye on for Friday. The Storm Prediction Center already hinting at a little sliver of the southwestern, third or so of the tri-state under what will likely be at least a slight risk outside for Friday. If the cap doesn't break Thursday, all that energy is still sticking around. Friday could be the day. And again, this is going to be an evening and overnight threat, Friday night into Saturday. So both timings, both days, either Thursday and Friday, and we could see storms both days. I'm just saying, if Thursday ends up being, kind of a wash and we don't see a lot of anything, that atmosphere is going to be ripe and make this Friday storms a little bit stronger. There's that chance. So here is the look ahead. This is a high-resolution model we're using for today. I'll dive into the other two, talking about Thursday and Friday. This one only goes out so far. So today, much like yesterday, nuisance stuff rolling through. This is 6 o'clock. That first pitch for the Reds tonight is at 6:40. Again, these models aren't great at pinpointing exactly where storms are going to go. They just give you an idea of what the coverage is going to be like. So we do have storms in and around, downtown, the rest of the tri-state through 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Nothing strong, nothing severe today, but there will be lightning with some of these storms, so just be aware of that. Could we see a rain delay or a delayed start for the Reds? Sure. I mean, you see that anytime there's rain in the forecast, nevertheless lightning. So something to keep an eye on through the night tonight. I do think they get the game in. The Pope's team, the White Sox in town for a 3-game series starting tonight. It's just a matter of if it's going to be on time or if we have any issues while that game's going on. We calm back down again through the overnight Wednesday. Here come the storms from a different direction. You notice here towards the latter half of this, and it's not going to let me go back, but let me just stop it. That'll just be easier for everybody. So in this case, you'll see how the storm direction kind of changes a little bit through the day tomorrow. Now they're coming out of the northwest, the last couple frames here. That low starts to sweep away. The direction of these storms will change. That's the only difference in the forecast. Is we'll see a different direction of the winds tomorrow. Otherwise, it's a very similar forecast. The storms, I think, pop in a little bit sooner tomorrow and then clear out late Wednesday night. Reds game, like we told you, not a washout. Don't cancel the plans to go down to the game if you have tickets tonight. 6:40 first pitch. Yes, there will be some storms out and about, but, like I said, I think we see some dry time too. All right, I'll check some Facebook comments here in a minute. I know we got a lot of people watching here, especially with the storm threat looming out there on Thursday. Let's see here. For whatever reason, that looks like it might be stuck on something else. Let's make sure that is not a continuing issue. That's weird. All right, well, on one I'm seeing the actual stream. On two other ones I'm seeing the first graphic like it's stuck, but I think we're all right. Nobody's complained yet, so at least there's that. All right. So Wednesday today, very similar to this forecast. We're going to see those temperatures climbing back into the mid-70s this afternoon. Some storms are possible. Garden variety stuff today and tomorrow. Not a big deal. Thursday's the next day we'll have to keep our eye on. So here's more of what we call a global model. The resolution is lower. Again, just giving you a grain of salt kind of idea on what's going to happen in terms of timing for rain, but not specific storms. Threats you can kind of start to pin down here too. So that's tomorrow. Again, much different looking than the other high resolution model I just showed you. Let's kind of slow the speed down just a little bit. So Thursday morning, slim chance as a warm front pushes in that we could see some rain early in the morning. If anything, this really doesn't do a lot for us. If anything, it could help to keep the cap on the pop model for Thursday night. We were talking about that cap a few minutes ago. It can hold the storm activity down Thursday night. You can see as we start to fast forward, what can help to erode a cap is sunshine, warmer temperatures, an influx in moisture, or perhaps a cold front pushing back in. Those are all triggers that can get things to fire up. But by 8 o'clock, just before sunset, we are still dry and storm-free across the area. By late Thursday night, you will see that storm threat starts to ramp up a bit and pushes into the tri-state into the early morning hours Friday. So again, late threat. Much of Thursday might be pretty nice. I know we're saying the first alert weather day is Thursday. By timing-wise, it really could time out to be more into Friday morning. So don't be surprised when we shift that day into Friday. Working our way past that system, Friday, This is a new update I'll show you here. I'll show you the other model in a second that's hinting at more stuff Friday night. This is one model. This is the European model we like to use. It's pretty accurate, pretty good. Friday night, it's trying to keep more storms in the forecast as a cold front sweeps into the area. If we don't see anything Thursday, the energy is going to be there. These storms will likely be more intense than the Thursday storms into Friday. So keeping our eyes on that because Friday's a big night. We have Reds in town. We have a big concert at TQL Stadium and a bunch of other stuff happening. It's a Friday night in Cincinnati this time of the year, and a lot of outdoor plans are there. Mayfest, I think, is happening down in Covington this weekend. There's a lot of stuff happening. Keeping our eyes on that, especially for the outdoor stuff that has tents. Looking at you, Mayfest, in case there's any tents down there. Make sure to tie those tents down. Weigh them down, or else they're going to go, or maybe even just take them down, put them back up Saturday if you can. This particular model keeps the rain then in place through early Saturday morning. That strong storm threat in place Saturday morning, early in the morning. But by 6, 7, 8 o'clock and through the later morning hours, you can see that rain starts to erode away, and the rest of our Saturday looks good. Okay? I do think much of the weekend, other than early Saturday morning, looks good. Maybe even a few peaks of sunshine Saturday afternoon. Sunday altogether, perfect. I mean, it's going to be great outside for the second half of the weekend. No weather issues for Sunday. Make some outdoor plans. Get the yard work done, taken care of on Sunday, because it does look like the rain chances try to push back in again next week. Here's a different model. And again, this is kind of how we make our forecast. We compare models. All of these technically are mathematically correct, but it's just a matter of interpreting them. They're all a mathematical possibility with how things work out. None of these are 100%. So like today, probably, yeah, same Tommy. I'm kind of casually seeing some comments roll in. This is from Tommy asking about the Reds game tomorrow night. Should it be okay like today? Yeah, again, dry time in there. There will be storms out and about like today. Tomorrow, very similar. It just depends on where the storms are, by first pitch. You could have a rain delay. Can't rule it out, but it's not going to be a complete washout. So I think we get that game in. We're going to weigh in a Wednesday on this particular model. Again, different model, same time frame. There's the scattered storms outside for Wednesday. I know it looks widespread, but this is a very low-resolution model, so it's not showing you specific storms. It's just kind of giving you an idea. It dries us out Thursday morning. A few storms out there early Thursday, potentially, as a warm front lifts across the area. Behind that, we surge into the 80s again. Into Thursday. Again, that's the thunderstorm fuel. By 3 o'clock, still dry. Clouds increase. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, still dry, but the later we get in the evening, the better the storm chances are. You see the darker green starting to spread in late Thursday into early Friday. So these, in this case, timing-wise, the models are very similar. Now look what happens in a Friday on this model. This is why I've changed things a little bit into Friday. Friday, in the evening, it brings another complex of storms Friday night. Why is this bad? Reds are playing. TQL Stadium, there's a concert. Big Mayfest across the river over in Covington in northern Kentucky. A lot of stuff happening. It's a Friday in spring. A lot of stuff is usually planned, this time of the year. I don't know everything happening this weekend, but there's a bunch outside. This is Friday night into early Saturday. Heavy rainfall. If this develops kind of in this fashion, this is what we'll probably end up, what we end up calling an MCS. It's a mesoconvective system, essentially. Mesoscale convective system. That's fancy for it's a big cluster of storms that roll in. Typically with that, you'll see heavy rainfall. Typically with that, you see some damaging wind on the front end. And then it just hangs around for a while. This runs all the way through 12:30. I'm going to keep it going. So again, arrival time, late Thursday evening. I'm sorry, one more time. Late Friday evening, so this is the second round of storms, into early Saturday, and then clears things out again in the morning hours. We see some sunshine by Saturday afternoon. But obviously this would be very impactful for Friday night. It's not a first alert weather day yet, but something we're going to keep an eye on for Friday, especially if that cap keeps the thunderstorm activity down on Thursday. If it does not keep it down on Thursday, expect Thursday to be the big show. Either way, it looks like we're going to see storms both days. But if we have a big Thursday storm system, it's going to take a little of the energy out of the atmosphere. This, as you can see, keeps our Thursday and Friday chances relatively minimal here and makes the bigger show Friday into early Saturday. So don't be surprised if we don't see anything Thursday, that threat shifts to Friday. Either way, a chance both days, but they're conditional threats. But that's kind of how it could play out as we work our way into the week. This one also tries to bring rain back down in Saturday. I don't buy that. I think we're drying out Saturday. And then Sunday looks dry as well, other than the southern half. Again, I don't buy this in this particular model this far out. I think we're drying back out into the weekend. Our weekend looks pretty nice. Here's why an MCS could be a problem for the area as we load this in real time. Look how much rainfall comes in. This is through the Thursday storms, into Friday morning. Some spots, third of an inch, a half an inch. Obviously in a stronger storm you could see more than that. But here's what happens if the Friday solution happens. It could really dump some rainfall. We're talking about a flooding threat then too. Because that big complex of storms, it'll have high rainfall rates. There will be a lot of moisture for that to work with. And at times we could see, by the time it's all said and done in a Saturday morning, some spots over 2 inches of rain. It's not out of the question. With that, some hail too, large hail, not out of the question. So things to keep an eye on. One little quick recap. This is what we have, at least for right now, on Thursday. This, again, if the cap breaks, that's that little protective barrier up in the atmosphere trying to keep the storms at bay. If that breaks and storms start to erupt, they will be violent storms. They will have a good amount of rainfall, good amount of lightning at a minimum. There is a chance for damaging wind in any severe storms. There will be a chance for some tornadoes on Thursday if those strong storms develop. That'll be in the evening hours, closer to that midnight or later time frame, into early Friday morning. So this is only for Thursday. Most of Thursday, no threat at all until we hit the evening hours and the overnight. Some chance for a shower in the morning, but the bulk of the severe threat will be late Thursday night into Friday morning. This could very easily also be the timeline for Friday. That threat would be a little bit sooner, a little closer to dinner time. Through the 8 o'clock window, we'd see storms rolling in. That MCS would track across the area into late Friday night, into early Saturday morning, and stick with us for a few hours. Obviously, very impactful stuff. Here's the 7-day as is before I get kicked off the air. Have to go get some lunch anyway. I'm getting hungry. They always put, I told you guys before, they put the kitchen right next to the weather center in there in the studio, and it just makes me hungry every time somebody comes in and cooks something. Thursday, first alert weather day. Make sure to stay weather aware through Thursday. There is a chance the cap holds. We don't see any storms at all on Thursday. It's just a really conditional thing, and it's going to be hard to pin down. We'll have better ideas on this as we work way through the evening tonight and into Wednesday on timing specifically and whether or not it looks like that cap will have enough heat, enough moisture to break. Thus, we see the better storm chances Thursday. If we stay mostly dry Thursday, expect that severe threat to shift to Friday. Just be aware of that. Both days, temperatures in the 80s, well above normal for this time of the year, which were a normal high 74. So it's only 10 degrees above normal, but it's still significant because that 10 degrees is a lot of fuel, especially with all the moisture. Strong storms possible late Friday as well into early Saturday, but we dry out Saturday. Sunday looks great. Make some outdoor plans. Saturday evening, Sunday, no issues. There will be additional rain chances next week, but that doesn't look like anything crazy. Just another nuisance round of showers Monday and better chances into Tuesday. I actually have the actual evening version. Let me switch this real quick. Same stuff. You get the additional bonus day. Don't say I never gave you anything. There's that better rain chance into Tuesday. So, again, first alert weather day. Everybody stay aware on Thursday. Friday, that could very well become a weather alert day if the Thursday chances don't pan out because of the cap. Saturday, storms early. We clear out late. Sunday looks great. Let's see here. That bird post, you have bird news, Brad? That was a fun one. Yeah, we showed you some of the birds this morning on the radar. I have that. Let's see. I can pull that up really quick as well. I'm going to hop off this over-the-air stream real quick. Turn that off. All right, because they'll yell at me if I don't. All right. We can stay on here for a few more minutes. So this was the radar outside this morning. Now we showed everybody, if you were watching at 10 o'clock this morning. So that on the radar, it looks busy. That is not rainfall. Those are birds. It is peak migration season for migratory birds as they come back out of the south, head north for their nesting grounds, and they like to fly at night. So through the overnight hours, millions and millions of birds each night fly northward. I had this saved somewhere, kind of the guesstimate. So the University of Cornell University uses an app called Merlin, and they also run a birdcast system to where they can kind of forecast how many millions of birds are moving through. They estimate that last night in Hamilton County specifically, right there in the 275 loop that you see that says Cincinnati on the map, that over 1.7 million birds crossed by. And that's just this county. So if you kind of extrapolate that to the rest of the tri-state, hold on, I can't, let's see. See if it lets me point at things. So that is just this county. So if you say, 1.7 just there and kind of multiply it by the other amount of counties we have, I mean, that's a good amount of birds that flew overhead. They're usually at about 3,000 to 4,000 feet high. So just shy of a mile high in the sky, about a half mile to a mile. You have a hard time seeing a bird at 100 yards away. You're probably not going to see a lot of these. Plus, we've had clouds. They would really have to fly, since it's at nighttime, right in front of the moon. And it would have to be a really good flock of birds if you're going to actually see this. But the radar does pick these things up. And that's what was pushing through early last night. Then by 7 o'clock, if I would have kept this going another hour or so, you'd see that all that activity subsides. That sun rises, they land for the day, take a break, and then they'll pick it back up tonight. So 1.7 million birds. This is the busiest bird week of the year as things start to ramp back up. And a lot of people head to northern Ohio because they like to get up there by Lake Erie and hang out for the, I think it's Maumee Bay or something like that. A lot of people go to for birding. Big birder people head that direction. Let's see, estimated flight, about 30 miles an hour. That's south wind we're seeing right now, helping them. They get a little wind at their back, so they get a nice little boost there. Let me see if I have any other fun facts here. Altitude, again, close between 3,000 to 4,000 feet, so just under a mile high in the sky. But yeah, so this activity should continue here through about early June, mid-June or so is when this, this activity for migrated, the spring migrations continue. So just a little something interesting that happened outside. Let's see if we got any more comments out there for Thursday. Yeah. Thursday, again, we've been talking about this. There's going to be an atmospheric cap. And, compared it to kind of a pop bottle, a Coke bottle earlier. The atmosphere is going to be like a shaken Coke bottle. That's how it's going to be, right? Just ready to go. But there's still a cap on it. It's not going to do anything until that cap pops off. We're going to have a cap on our atmosphere, a little warm layer aloft. If that cap breaks, the storms are going to explode across the area Thursday night. In terms of timing, it'll be late Thursday after sunset, likely into early Friday morning. That's the best timing we have right now. If the cap holds, we don't see any storms then into Thursday. That's just how it works. A lot of times this is kind of a setup they see out in the Great Plains. If a couple storms, then they're going to be more, discreet as well, and that will allow, better chances for those storms to rotate, better chances they have large hail. And if they don't develop, then we have problems on Friday because the moisture, the temperatures, they'll still be very mild. The atmosphere won't be worked over. Then Friday we have a better chance to see those storms develop, and that creates its own problems. So we'll keep our eyes very closely on the end of the week. Once our high-res models start getting into time frame for that, we'll have a better idea for you on timing. But right now it looks to be late Thursday into Friday. Let me see if I got any more comments here on the Facebook. I don't see any just yet. Snow would be nice. Snow would not be nice, Jeff. Don't hit me with the S word this time of the year. Let's see. We are done with the cold, by the way. If you want to plant, you'll get some free watering in this week. Enhanced risk. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's kind of one of those weird things. We could see an enhanced risk. We could see even a moderate risk. I mean, it is going to be a high-end threat. The amount of energy in the atmosphere. I think I showed you guys the storm fuel map, or what we call convective available potential energy yesterday, to be a super nerd about it. I mean, it's just in the 3,000 plus range. 1,500 is enough to get a good thunderstorm around here. So double that, triple that. It's a lot of energy for these storms to work with. And at the same time, that cap could just hold strong and then wreck the forecast. So just be aware of that. I'm not trying to give myself a cop-out in case nothing happens. That's just how it works in this area. And it's really tough to know if that cap's going to break. If it does, big storms. Big storms on Thursday. Reds game, again, don't cancel the plans out there. All right, that pretty much catches me up on the Facebook comments. I'm going to wrap it up. Got a web video to take. Got to get some lunch in. It's that time of the day for me. I'm getting a little hungry. Appreciate you watching. Obviously, Steve will be in this evening. We'll talk more about this between ourselves, and he'll have some updates as well online. On the air, we both will, starting at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Talking more about that threat, we'll go over some stuff, take a look at some cool model data so you don't have to. Either way, be safe out there with the Thursday evening plans, the late plans, early Friday morning. Be safe out there Friday evening, because there is a chance, again, Friday. Let me just pull this up. pull up the 7-day for you. That's the wrong one. Clicked on the wrong one. Now it's loading the wrong one. Let's try this one. It's going to be a snail's pace, but it'll come up. Be careful with those plans Friday as well. Just because we have that chance late Friday night to see some strong storms rolling back in. And that one might be a little bit closer to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock time frame. Again, still really early for specific timing, but people are still out at that time and not so much 2 or 3 in the morning. So, you know, just be careful out there Friday night too. Saturday, Sunday, make some plans in the afternoon or evening hours. Anytime Sunday, but Saturday we'll have some showers in the morning, clearing back out late Saturday afternoon. And we'll see some dry time Saturday evening. So either way, nice plans out there for Saturday or Sunday. Nice weekend again if it weren't for the rain early Saturday. That's going to do it for me. I appreciate you watching. We'll catch back up again, you know, working our way into the next couple of days as we continue to track this First Alert Weather Day, our severe threat into Thursday and potentially on Friday.